Hello, everyone. Jeff Duncan, Josh Katzenstein. We're here live at the Superdome where the Saints have just defeated the Atlanta Falcons 31-17 on Thanksgiving night, primetime game, and probably the best performance we've seen all year by the Saints defense. Lots of big plays and kind of stole the spotlight from the offense, which has dominated all season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we thought last week was their best performance against the Eagles. They kept the Eagles to less than 200 yards. They dominated Carson Wentz. They caught 3 interceptions. But then today they took it another level against, a Falcons team that Sean Payton, mentioned, every week we're talking about reasons why the Saints streak is going to end. And obviously the Saints are a more talented team than the Falcons, but it's still a familiar opponent, divisional game, and these tend to be close. And it was close for a while, but then the Saints just, between their defense getting 4 turnovers, which is a season high, 6 sacks, which is a season high, just about everyone on defense played a role in one of those turnovers, whether it was a forced fumble or a fumble recovery or a sack or something. I mean, just about every guy, played a hand in this incredible defensive performance. And 3 of the turnovers they got were when the Falcons were already in the red zone. So we've talked all year about this being an opportunistic defense, and there was no better example than tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, look, the Falcons got their yards, and they're going to get yards. I mean, they have a great offense, great quarterback. But in this league, the way the rules are basically slanted for the offense, I mean, this is how you have to play defense in this league. We saw the Rams and Chiefs do it the other night, gave up a ton of yards and points, but the defenses each made big plays, and that's what the Saints are going to have to do, I think, defensively to succeed. And we saw that tonight. I mean, you mentioned the sacks, but they also had a season-high 5 forced fumbles. That's a lot of forced fumbles. They had 9 tackles for loss, shut down the Atlanta run offense. I think Atlanta had 26 yards rushing. It's a season low. I think it's the lowest total since 2015 for them. And they also had 7 passes defensed. That's got to rank up near the top. So you made a great point. They had contributions from all 3 levels of their defense. And if this team plays defense like this, I don't know if anybody's going to beat them the rest of the way.
No, I can't imagine how they would. I mean, I've been saying for weeks now that I can't see the Saints losing. I mean, the only game to me on the schedule that, is a likely, more likely than not is Week 17 against the Panthers, because I think it's more likely that the Saints won't have anything to play for in that game. I could see the game against the Steelers being tough, and then obviously the one on the road in Week 15 against the Panthers. It's going to be a tough one too, but the way this team is playing offensively, the way Sean Payton is coaching and getting them in position, I mean, they scored a touchdown on the opening drive again, and then now if you have this defense, they're not going to play like this every night. You just can't do that. No. The fumbles by nature are a lucky proposition. It just depends where the ball bounces, but still we see the effort from the defensive players to just create these. We see Eli Apple getting more comfortable in the defense, and all of a sudden this group is playing with a lot more confidence, and that's something that should help them the rest of the year. Yeah,
this is the formula the Saints used to win the Super Bowl in 2009. Dynamic offense, opportunistic defense, getting leads on people early. You mentioned the early score. This was the 4th game in a row, or maybe the 5th game, that the Saints have scored on their opening drive. They get a lead, the defense turns it up, and then they just kind of feed off each side of the ball. And this also was the 4th game in a row the Saints have played here in the Dome where they've never trailed. The last time they trailed at home was against the Browns in Week 2 here in this building. And I don't know if anybody's going to beat this team here, the way they play with the confidence, the swagger, and the way this crowd is starting to get into the games. I mean, it's a real factor for them here at home, and I think that's the goal the rest of the way, try and position themselves to get either one of those top 2 seeds in the NFC.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just how they're playing. I mean, it's sort of the emotional, way that these guys are approaching the game and each other. I mean, in the locker room, every week we hear them blasting music and they're just making jokes. Tonight, Cam Jordan, jokingly called Marcus Davenport, who missed the last 3 games with a toe injury. He was back tonight, and Cam Jordan called him Toby Bryant. I mean, these guys, I hate to, just be like, how much fun are you having, all that stuff. I think that's a crutch a lot of people use, but it's so clear with these guys that they really love being around each other. They obviously are enjoying winning. And on the field, too, I mean, there's so many plays, at least defensively, where, multiple guys have a hand. Like tonight we saw Demario Davis do his celebration and Sheldon Rankins do his celebration on the same play because they're all making plays at the same time. And, I mean, it's turning out to be a perfect recipe for success.
Yeah, it's just a big house party every home game here for the New Orleans Saints. For Josh Katzenstein, Julie Bowden, I'm Jeff Duncan. Continue to read all of our coverage leading into the Cowboys game a week from today on Thursday night on NOLA.com and in the Times-Picayune. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and thanks for joining us.